Hello everyone and welcome to a book talk for Pretty When They Collide. This is written by Rhiannon Frater. I'm sure I said that wrong, I do apologize. This takes place in Texas and was an ebook that I read, as you will be seeing an insert of the image rather than a physical book. This was published in 2013. It is part of a series. This is a prequel novella to the series called Pretty When She Dies. So I'm talking about Pretty When They Collide. There are 3 books, as of when I read this book, in the series. So, this is an adult book. And this particular one is a paranormal romance. When I looked at book number 1, it also had horror as a tag, so I don't know if it will become more fitting for the horror genre as the series goes on or not, but book number 1 is paranormal romance. Definitely no horror vibes in book number 1. There is an audiobook available, and it is 4 hours and 25 minutes on standard 1x speed and is narrated by Kristen Allison. So what is this book about? We are following 2 POVs. We have Cassandra, who is what's called a dhampir. A dhampir is basically someone who is half vampire and half human. So if you've seen Twilight, think of Renesmee, Edward and Bella's child. She would be considered a dhampir in this particular world. So, and dhampirs can have powers, like in the movie Twilight did. So in this one, this dhampir can see things of the past, there's like vampire illusions and things like that. Within this book, Cassandra works for someone who goes to try to collect valuables, to get things back, things like that. So she's on this case to go and collect or steal this particular item that's back. She can create these illusions so people don't know that she's a vampire in order to complete her job to steal said valuable item back to get it to her boss so that he can have this thing in his collection. The other POV we're following is Amy, who is a witch. So we have dhampirs, we have vampires, we have witches. We also have werewolves in this book. Amy is 27 years old and she is bonded to a vampire basically by force. She does not want this life. She wants to be free, things like that. So anyway, at one point, Cassandra is tasked. Well, what has happened is this witch is able to go and visit Cassandra in what she thinks is like this dream. They do meet while Cassandra is on this job, and they kind of keep remembering each other. So the witch sees Cassandra in what's called like this kind of a dreamlike state. And then Cassandra takes on this job to go and free said witch, Amy, from the situation that she is in. And that is the story, trying to free Amy. This particular edition that I read was 133 pages. What is the representation that we have? We have a variety of representation. Racial representation. Black is mentioned. You know that there are people that are white in it because it does talk about the skin tones. Those are the 2 that stand out. And then the other one that you have is LGBT. You have someone who talks about being in a male relationship, but is attracted to women as well. So bisexual, or this could also be the case where someone was dating people of the opposite sex because they thought that's what was expected of them, but they actually are lesbian. So either way, there is LGBT rep in this. So what are your content and your trigger warnings? You have what is basically called monster slavery. So think, back in the time it was slavery, but it was people that were black were slaves. Disgusting time in history, but that's what it was. And it's a similar situation, except it's literally monsters in this book because it is a paranormal. So you're not a slave due to your racial, whatever race you are, you're a slave depending on what monster you are. Either way, it is slavery, and that's disgusting. It does talk about people owning monsters. This book just reminded me, even just reflecting back on the slavery of the American history, and it wasn't just Americans that had slaves, it was people in the UK and other places. But slavery and owning a person, it's just a disgusting act, and unfortunately it is a part of the history. Hopefully we never go back to that. No one should be a slave and no one should be owned. You are your own person. Anyway, so this just kind of reiterated that and my thinking of that. So anyway, so yeah, slavery and owning people is a big content or trigger warning in this. It can very much make you uncomfortable. And there were certain phrases that did make me uncomfortable. Nothing that I felt was just like a phrase having to be censored or anything like that. Nothing like that. It was just uncomfortable, and it is what it is. And unfortunately, we can't undo the past, and just let's move forward and never repeat the past type of a situation. So slavery, monster slavery, and owning monsters, just as disgusting in this book. So yeah, that was a big topic. Okay, so now that we have that content out of the way, let's go ahead and get into your words. In case there's a particular word that's bothersome for you, then you know to avoid this book or head in with extra caution. We have the word ass 10 times. Breasts 4. This is not a sexually explicit book. We have the word porn 1 time. Arouse 4. Tramp 1. Yes, the language is a little rough, but there are no explicit sex scenes. Laid once. Shit 9. Cock block once. Asshole 11. The word foreplay once. Fuck 49 times, and that's the word that comes up the most. The actual word Nazi comes up 1 time. Bastard 4. Bitch 4. The word suicide once. And shithole once. And is there more, or was that it? Oh, there's more. Okay. Pissed 1 time. Slutty once. Hell 4. Bimbo twice. Shit ton once. Whore once. Damn it 3 times. Badass 3 times. Nipples once. Wench once. Kick ass twice. Cock once. Orgasm once. We have the word damn 4. Horny twice. The word God 6 times, sometimes G-O-D or G-A-W-D. So just kind of a pronunciation type difference. Finger bang once. Wise ass once. Erotic once. Pussy once. Bullshit once. The phrase goddamn once with the W in it. Calling someone a tool once. And those are your words. One other thing that I have written down on the back of the second page, or the bottom of the second page, is another representation that you have, which is you have talk and mention of someone having a friend that has a prosthetic leg. This is the first book that I know of that has ever mentioned someone having a leg amputated to the point that they need the prosthetic leg, that they use a prosthetic limb. So that was cool to have that in there. So let me know, have you read Pretty When They Collide? I will be continuing on with this series at some point. I have a lot of series I'm working on, but I will be continuing on with this. I did enjoy this enough to continue. So let me know, have you read this book? Have you read anything else by Rhiannon Frater? Yeah, let me know. Is this something that you're interested in picking up or not? Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.